Yes, Carlo. It's a winning streak. What's up, Necron? Hi, Greg. What's up, Greg? What's up, Robert?
Hey, everybody! Welcome, North Sports Network. And
What's up,
yeah, I got a Giants hat on tonight, guys. They beat the Rockies.
The worst team in the National League. But that's what you got to do that, right? You got to beat those guys. You got to beat the teams underneath.
Hey, it's a lot better than losing. I'll tell you that. Yes, Chardall, they go for the sweep tomorrow. It will be their first 3-game winning streak of the year if they can get it done. But tonight, let's talk about tonight, guys.
Let me put
the Giants. The Giants looked pretty darn good as we pull up the box score. Stars of the game, Conforto going 3 for 4 with a bomb. Blake Sable goes 3 for 4, hitting 500 on the year. So what is he, like 4 for 8 or 6 for 12? I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, he's somewhere around there. Yeah,
I think he's either 4 for 8 or 6 for 12. He's probably about 6 for 12. Yeah, Blake hitting the ball. Elliot Ramos makes his season 2024 debut and gets a hit his first time up in an RBI, and didn't get anything going much after that. But I liked his approach on the was it the first at bat. He actually
went with the pitch,
and he was trying to go there.
He kept trying to go to right field. Yes.
Yeah, and he got it in there. And so that was great. Hey, and we'll be joined shortly by Cody from
Even Year Dynasty Show.
Even Year Dynasty Show, right. We'll do a breakdown tonight of the Giants minor league. Cody will be bringing us that very shortly. And but just looking at this game here, Yaz had a good game. Nice hustle and diving on the bunt by Ahmed. He dives in for I think was that the first run or the second run of the
second run.
Yeah.
No. Third run, because Conforto hit the home run.
Oh, that's right.
Ramos got the second RBI, and then it was.
That's right. Yeah.
What's up, Andrew?
And also, Matt Chapman gets 2 hits and actually raises his average. He's hitting a paltry 211 though. But hey,
Rocks.
It's moving up. Conforto's up to 267. Lee's hitting at 262. This is where you got to make your move, Colorado. Now, all that said, guys, it is the Colorado Rockies. So we don't want to get overly excited, because anything less than 2 games is a disaster, and you should sweep them. But tomorrow's a huge game. Keaton Wynn will be going tomorrow, and he'll be facing – who's he facing tomorrow? Do we know? Let's see. Tomorrow –
the Rockies, does it even matter? Does it even matter?
Probably not. Cal Quantrill. So
hey, Giovanni, man, you're fair weather, buddy. You're fair weather. You come in here when they win, but I don't.
Yeah, Giovanni, where were you when Philadelphia?
During the 4-game sweep? Where were you?
Yeah, where were you, Giovanni?
You a fair weather fan, man? Come on now.
Yeah, talk about a fair weather fan. Come on, we're here every day.
Come on, man.
Win, lose, rain, or shine, we're here. But tomorrow, the game time's at 12:10. So Giants are either coming home on a 3-game win streak and feeling a lot better about themselves, or they're going to come home with a pretty rotten road trip at 3-7 and 5 under. So tomorrow is huge. And I don't know if Duvall's even going to be available. He's pitched 2 nights in a row.
He looked shaky today, didn't he?
Yeah.
Every time he comes into a no-save situation, it gets a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Michael Roeder, what's up, man? Thank you for the $5, man. I appreciate that. Told you guys that Sable should be back up for Bailey. He belongs to it.
I agree.
You're onto something. You're onto something, Michael.
He's catching a lot better this year.
And he is catching a lot better. I think his defense and his bat is much better than freaking Tom Dan Murphy.
Oh,
Agree
yeah.
or disagree?
Totally agree. I mean, come on. But Farhan's not going to give up on that. There's no way, unfortunately. But anyway, hey, let's bring in Cody. Cody is here as promised. We welcome Cody to the
what's up, Cody?
Hey guys. Hey, how you doing, Cody?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Yeah, we haven't talked since last Wednesday when they went into Boston. I think they lost that night in Boston, but then came back, won on the Thursday, and then promptly went into Philadelphia and got slaughtered. So this is going to be either a 3-7 trip or a 4-6 trip. Tomorrow's a big swing game. It's a big game.
Absolutely.
You cannot. If they lose tomorrow, it really makes the road trip kind of a sour trip.
Yeah. If you can manage a 4-6, especially the way it started,
Hey, that's what I predicted. I predicted a 4-6 trip. I thought they would. Here's how I thought it was going to go. I thought they'd lose 2 or 3 in Boston. I thought they'd lose originally 3 or 4 when I made my prediction in Philadelphia, and they'd win 2 or 3. And then I changed it, and I said they're going to get swept for sure when I saw the pitching matchup of Wheeler versus who was pitching the other day for them when they lost to Zach. Oh, it was
Mason Black.
Yeah, Mason Black. That's right. And then I thought, well, the way they're playing, they're going to lose 2 or 3 to the Rockies, and yet they've done well. I think it's going to be a tough to win tomorrow. I really do. They should win, but why it's going to be tough is the Rockies are so bad, and they're 28, 8-30.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, they're bad.
I don't take anything for granted in Coors.
Yeah,
no, you can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Even today's game.
Yeah. Rockies are 8.
Duvall gave up that home run, and I immediately just said, I hate this damn park.
Yeah. Rockies are 8-28. They're going to win close to 50 games, if not a little bit more this year.
Yeah.
They're 3-16 on the road, 5-12 at home. Odds say it turns in their favor, especially. Here's the thing. They started hitting late, and when we see teams start to hit late and come from behind and make a game of it, a lot of times that'll carry over into the next day. No guarantee, but I would think. But the Giants are also going to be coming out hungry. They want to win this and come home on a kind of forget the taste of Philadelphia. And but here's why it's such a pivotal game, guys. You come back home 3 under, 500's in your sight. You come back 5 under, 5 back of 500 and have to face the Reds and Dodgers. You may be leaving after the Dodger game. You may be, looking at 6 games out, or under 6 under 500. Because, man, you don't want to go 2-4 against Cincy and LA. You want to ideally go 4-2, but at minimum go 3-3. It's going to be interesting because tomorrow gives me I know they play Colorado after LA. It's a 9-game homestand, right? Yeah. So, I mean, the Giants have a potential to, they play well at home, but they don't score at home. So we'll see. Maybe this is a time that wakes them up. Their bats wake up in Colorado and they carry it over into Oracle. We'll see. But give us your overall thought of the game.
Before he gives us the overall, how about well, yeah, I guess we could. Let's get to the game because what I want you to do, Cody, because I know you did your minor league report. Was Ramos in there?
And yes, I did.
Okay,
do Ramos.
Maybe we'll lead off with that. What you think of Ramos before he got the call up and you can tell us, how he was doing from what you saw over this last week. But yeah, the game. What did you think of Hicks?
Hicks,
he was okay, I guess.
He looked okay. It's coarse. It's hard.
Yeah.
You don't get as much break on the ball. You don't. There's so many factors in that ballpark, and he had a little bit of bad luck involved as well when Diaz hits a swinging bunt that brought the third run in, and I was a little shocked they actually let him go through the entire fifth. The pitch count was getting up there when he walked the bases loaded. I was sitting there going, "Get this guy."
Oh boy, he got that double play. Man,
that double play was huge.
If he didn't get that, the Giants may have lost the game.
Yeah.
If that guy got a hit, the momentum was definitely.
And that was a. I'm thinking of a different double play. Never mind. I'm thinking of towards the end with Doval. Never mind.
That one was big too. I mean,
it was huge because Doval getting over to that
away
first
from tying run coming up. So
and then the next batter hits a home run, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if that ball got if that guy got on and Diaz hits a home run.
I drafted Diaz.
So. There you go.
He
hasn't been doing much except for tonight, right?
Yeah,
he's doing so. He's hitting over 300, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, overall in the game, Hicks battled. He got through 5. That was good to see in that park, especially with the pitch count getting up. I mean,
and you want to try to save the bullpen as much as possible, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I would throw out, I heard you guys kind of mentioning it when I was hopping in, was I will say Blake Sable's mechanics blocking balls. It is night and day from last season.
It is.
I am always harsh on catchers. That was what I played for my entire life. He was unplayable last season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't say this lightly. Last season, he was the worst ball blocker I'd ever seen at the professional level. And he's made massive improvements. Now, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying he's a good defensive catcher or anything like that yet. He made a lot of similar mistakes in AAA still. But mechanically, way better.
Better than Tom Murphy.
His framing looked pretty quick tonight too.
His framing looked good.
I will go as far as saying this, and this is not to disrespect Patrick Bailey in any way, because Bailey is clearly still a way better defensive catcher. But what Blake Sable showed today, that was a better display of mechanics blocking balls than what Bailey typipally gives you.
Interesting. Okay.
So too much trying to pick the ball. Yeah, Bailey, you get too much of him trying to pick it, and it bites him. I mean, he's had a lot of pass balls in his career, both at the in the majors and minors. So, like I said, not disrespecting Patrick Bailey, he's definitely better, but I liked what I saw.
I did too. Yeah, Giants baby, Giovanni, where were you? Where were you, Giovanni? You didn't show up for one post game in Philadelphia. You are the definition of a fair weather fan. You're not a real baseball. You're not a baseball fan. Come on. You can't be. You can't just be showing up and saying Giants baby. Why weren't you saying Giants baby in Philadelphia? That's the definition of a homer.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
I appreciate them winning these 2 games because I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If they went to Colorado and they got swept, I mean, I was gonna go scorched earth. Like, it was gonna be bad.
It's the worst team in the National League.
Yeah,
you can't.
At least we can say, as San Francisco Giants, we're not the Rockies. At least we can do that still.
Yeah, exactly. What else do we got out there? Sable again had 3 hits. Conforto looked like he's getting the bat on the ball a lot better.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, again, like
good at bats.
It's a small sample size because it's Colorado, so we'll see how this transitions in when they go back home.
Yeah, you never.
It's hard. It's really hard to. Don't get me wrong. When you get a solid hit, is a solid hit, but let's see what happens when they go back to.
Would Robert be a homer? With that definition?
Yeah.
Yes. A fan with a blind faith in or allegiance to their home team. Call me a homer, but I bet on our team against
theirs any day. Whatever
this is. That's Robert. That's actually Robert.
That's Robert.
Oh, man.
Huh.
So, but well,
Okay. The big news, what today? Ramos got the call up. Soler goes on to IL. Ramos is up. Unfortunately, I don't know how long he's going to be up. I guessing it's probably going to be as long as Soler is probably on the IL. I don't see them getting rid of Slater. But tell us. I mean, you were doing the breakdown for the week. So what do you got?
Yeah. So Ramos, kind of tales of two halves of the week. Last week he started it off kind of rough. He had been cooling off for like 2 weeks. He had a kind of a stretch, at least it was like for 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, because he was at like 370 and he dropped all the way down to like what 260.
It just kind of pisses me off that you don't capitalize when guys are really hot. Now he comes up, and if he's in a little bit of a funk, then it's like, he can't do well in the
right.
Yeah, and like you said, we'll see how long they actually keep him up. But the last 3 games last week. And then if you want to count, he played yesterday. He was in Salt Lake City, so it made total sense. When I saw the lineup card for Sacramento go out today, which they played at like 11:05 Pacific. He wasn't in it, and I'm like, I saw Melvin's comments, and that kind of just put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, there's a chance that he might be coming over. That's a quick flight.
I actually predicted he'd be here last night.
Yeah, he might have been. But although I think they said he flew in at noon or something like that.
Yeah, so, I was just predicting earlier in the week that they were gonna bring up Ramos was after the Philly series. I thought.
Yep.
Yeah. But last week, the last 3 games last week, he went 4 for 11 with a homer, a walk, and a stolen base. And then yesterday he went 1 for 3 with 2 walks. And the one he hit like 110 or 111 miles an hour to center field. If he hit it probably 5 or 6 feet farther right, it was going to be a double or triple. He just kind of hit it at the center fielder a little bit. But he showed it a little bit today. There's still swing and miss. There's still kind of some questions regarding pitch recognition. He's still walking a bunch down there. I think his walk rate's up around 12%. Strikeout rate's up around 27. So it's higher than you want.
Yeah.
But if he can translate the extra base hits and everything that he's getting down there up here, you live with the little bit higher strikeout rate if he's doing damage. So, and when he barrels the ball, it's as impressive as anybody in the system. For perspective, like Jung-Hoo Lee's double he hit today. Everyone was like, that thing was blistered. It was hit hard off the bat. You could tell. And it was 104.6 miles per hour. Ramos's ground out like the next inning, or it might have been later that inning, that didn't look like he hit it that hard, was 104.7.
See, there you go. Right.
So it's like he's got
the hard contact. He's got the hard contact.
Yeah. So when he barrels it, like it can be good.
And at least he could get a damn RBI, unlike Soler.
Yeah. I immediately tweeted out after that his first at bat. I sent out a tweet. It was something along the lines of it. It took all of 1 at bat for Ramos to match Slater's.
I saw RBI that one. Total. Yeah, I saw that one. That was good. Yeah, exactly.
Anything to troll him.
But it's pathetic because we already see the writing on the wall. He's here for a short bit, and then he's going to be right back in Sacramento. And they'll carry Slater.
Yeah, all we can hope for is he hits. All we can hope for is that he comes up, he hits the ball hard, and he forces it a little bit. That's the sad thing, because the Giants won't give anyone a chance. They won't give any young players the benefit of the doubt and give them an opportunity without injuries. And and if you don't just blister the ball, like Casey Schmidt did at the beginning, and then Patrick Bailey did for a month last season, they're not going to give you any kind of rope past that. And that's the hard part. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, but I'm skeptical, to say the least, on how long
I know. Goodness gracious, man. I think didn't Matos not have a home run today? He
did. Matos hit one out. Also had a single somewhere in there, I think. And he's been, he's had some bad luck. I don't know. I sent one out.
I think you talked about that. Yeah.
It was in my video the other day. It's hard. The way I put it, it's a fickle game, especially this early in the season. These guys are hitting, they only have 100, 110 at bats, some of them. And Luis Matos, in a 2-game stretch, I watched him get kind of 3 hard hit balls taken away from him. And, small difference. I mean, he was hitting 210 or 212 at the time, and it was the difference between him hitting like 242 or 212. So it's just little things like that where, I mean, yeah, that's not great, but it's a lot better than 212 if you're hitting 240. Right. And I've been seeing it all season, and the things I noticed with him, he's trying to pull a lot more. He's out there trying to tap into that fence.
Power, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's not his game. He needs to go back to being a line drive guy. He needs to go back to using the entire field.
And the power will come, right?
Yeah, and let the power come to you. It's like the Pat Burrell philosophy of, I'm out there trying to hit 300, and everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so
I'm going to go back in time a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I talked to you about this on the phone. Go back to Mason Black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm upset with the Giants for the simple fact that you didn't set him up for success, right? When you're limiting their pitches as a starting pitcher in AAA, which you could be called up at any time at AAA because you never know what can happen to a starting pitcher. You got to be stretching these guys out. I mean, he's been at 70 pitches for, I think, the last few outings, right? If I'm not mistaken, he's been around 70.
Yeah,
you got to incrementally increase that because it's not a coincidence that when he got past 70 pitches that he started leaking oil. And
absolutely,
the runs. So,
I mean,
did you like what you saw? Did you like what you saw from Blake or Blake?
Yeah, I looked really good. Obviously, 4 good innings. He started to leak a little bit in the 4th, but got through it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. I mean, they baby these guys. His high. I went back and checked through my notes because I always like to write down like how many pitches they threw, how many strikes, just as part of what I go through. And I looked back at my notes, and the highest pitch count Black had thrown this season was 71.
See,
well, when Bryce Harper came up,
74.
Pitch 74, yeah. And yes, I can sit here and armchair manager this, and hindsight's always 20/20. But to me, it just seemed like if you're going to let this guy go beyond his pitch count, and he's on the 3rd time through the order, 2 guys in front of Harper just hit the ball hard, and now you have Harper coming up, who is the best or one of the best hitters in baseball and one of the hottest right now with the lefty advantage. I'm like, it would have made sense to pull him right there, and then it especially would have made sense to pull him after Harper already hit the home run. I don't know why they let him go farther, but it is what it is. I thought that was a failure both on, like you said, the preparedness of him, as well as just the in-game decision. Melvin went a little too old school and was like, "Oh, we're trying to get 5. We need 5 innings out of him." And I understand that, but the organization hadn't prepared him to throw that many pitches, especially with how he was getting hit at that point.
And staying on pitching, how's Wisenhunt been doing that? I've heard some good things.
The last 2 weeks, he's been really, really solid. He struggled a lot. He struggles to find the zone sometimes. But I mean, he racked up 10 strikeouts last week, or in his last outing, I mean, in 4 innings. Yeah, 2 hits, 3, but still walked 3 guys. I mean, that's going to be the thing. Okay. I mean, his changeup is legit. It is so good.
Do you see him anytime this season as maybe like a bullpen? Maybe not a starter because they got a lot of depth at starting. Can you think he could make it work coming out of the bullpen this year if they need him?
Or
do you think he's just going to go starter?
I think they should continue. I would rather see them develop him as a starter. I won't say it's impossible. I think there'd have to be enough injuries. Also, the possibility of like the season going just completely belly up and then blowing up. I mean, that could be a scenario where he gets a look. But I think I would actually go as far as to say I think Reggie Crawford has a better chance at being on the big league roster this season than Carson Wisenhunt.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
just because he's in the pen. Yeah.
They're setting him up for the pen. Yeah.
They're setting him up. Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They set him up in the pen. They're
only
pitching him every 5th game.
What's he topping out at?
I think he's hit 100 a few times this season, but yeah, he kind of cruises at like 96 to 98.
Doesn't he look a little bit like when he's pitching because he's pretty tall, like Chapman to you?
Kind of body type.
Yeah.
I didn't realize just how big he was until he took that picture in spring training next to Jorge Soler, and he kind of made Soler look a little bit small.
Wow. What's a secondary pitch?
He's got a really solid changeup and slider.
Ooh, the
both
changeup
have
is what's
command
going
on
to
them. Yeah, the command are that's where the question is. I mean, I would say the pitches themselves, he has 3+ pitches, but the command of those two. The fastball he's figuring out right now, and he figured it out his last outing too, that he could just reach back and throw fastballs, and he's throwing it right by these guys, like repeatedly.
Oh,
and
man,
even
I like that.
when you watch a minor league team, they always have the home announcers for whatever,
right,
wherever they're playing. And I think they were playing Erie or something like that, and even the announcer just said, "Well, Crawford needs to just throw a fastball here," and he just threw it right by the guy on the next page. It's like these guys aren't catching him.
I think you hit on it there that he may be up because he's in Double-A.
Yeah,
and they're working him right now like a starter as far as his workload. They're not letting him pitch, but every 5th game, even though it's as a reliever. I don't know how many innings is he going when he pitches every 5th day.
About 1 to 2. He went 1 2/3 last outing. He's got like 8 2/3, and I think 5 outings maybe this season.
So they're babying him again, and they're working his way up. So they're working on his what he does on his off days. I think eventually they're going to have to start pitching him every. They're going to have to give him pretty much like he's on a. What's those steroids? You taper them down, like you taking steroids for 5, 4, 3. They got to do it the opposite. They're going to have to start pitching them every 4th
Man, I'm not
day,
an expert on steroids, man.
every 3rd day.
Not
Not those kind of steroids. I'm talking about, a steroid for if you got
I know it's a bad back
or whatever.
Yeah.
But
his max pitches is 32 this season.
32.
Yeah.
I could see, Orion Kirkering last year came up from A-ball.
That's right, straight up
to the Phillies roster.
You're right. And he was in a postseason.
That's what I said, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So he's already at Double-A, Crawford. Next step, hey, pitching is different. We saw the Giants bring up that kid in the 21 playoffs. What was that kid's name? He was pitching pretty high leverage games, and then they sent him off in the trade for Dixon Machado.
Was it Santos?
For the Cubs.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't Santos.
No, it wasn't
Santos.
Santos.
What was that kid's name?
Baroa? Was it Baroa?
No,
was it Baroa?
No, he never made the club.
Can't remember.
21-year-old, had some really good stuff, and then he just lost his velocity.
Come on, Chad. Who was it? Who was it that got traded? 21 season.
No, it was the 22 season he got traded.
Oh,
he pitched in the playoffs in 21.
Gotcha.
He pitched a Latin kid. Gosh.
No, they traded Santos to the White Sox, right? Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Julian Perez?
Nope. I'll look it up.
Cody, Bryce Eldridge. It looks like he's having a rough time in low A.
Yeah, he missed about 2 weeks with a tweaked hamstring. I did see that he has 2 hits today. He had a double and another single.
So maybe he was fighting something then, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. You come back from a 2-week absence, you got
timing
can be off and things like that. So he was struggling, and he looks like he had 2. I know for sure he had 2 hits today. He actually had a guy, he had a sac fly in the game too, where a guy made a catch crashing into the wall. Eldridge. Oh,
Castro.
Curvin Castro.
I remember.
Yeah,
and someone else just put it in there too. Kilt.
Way to go, Kilt.
I was just looking it up and found
it. Okay, so we could just chalk that up that he was off for a few weeks and then he came back and
possibly. I mean, it's hard to know. Hopefully he's heating up a little bit.
There we go.
I think an 0 with a walk yesterday. 3 hits. Thank you. I went to check that. And
thanks, Kitchen.
Yeah, I knew for sure he had 2. I hadn't seen if he had gotten any more. But yeah, I mean, a guy made a catch crashing into the wall, which, I mean, he got a sac fly out of it. A run came through. And so,
cool.
At least you're not taking an out on that one for your average. But Yeah, I mean, it looked like a double to left center. He's got crazy power to all fields, and it looks easy when he hits it. And
Nice.
yeah, he's hit a few balls that just kind of raised some eyebrows. He's 6'7" though, so you always have the questions on whether or not he'll be able to.
Whether he has holes in his
catch-
swing.
Yeah, on the inside. But I will say, for a guy his size, he seems to cover that pitch better than most guys that I see that size. He is pretty quick to the ball. So,
what's your thoughts
we'll see.
on Eldridge as far as we had Larry Kruger on last night, and he was on a few weeks back, and we were talking about he wanted Alonso.
Yeah.
And he said and he would trade Alonso. And I said, I wouldn't do it for Eldridge unless I knew Alonso agreed to a deal, to an extension. I'm not taking Alonso for two months and
100%.
then watching for a club that is likely not to win it all anyway this year. But I mean, I know we've heard about all the prospects over the years. Nobody's ever done, so many Giants prospects have fizzled, but this guy looks like a legitimate first baseman power hitter to me with his swing. I've seen his swing, and and he's athletic for a big guy. At some point you gotta hope some of these guys
break through.
You gotta pan out.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to asset allocation and things like that, like at some point you need some young players to be successful. So you have like young, cheap talent on the roster if you want to have a chance. I mean, you see it with like the 49ers and all the guys they draft that have been successful. And yes, I get it. There's not a salary cap in baseball. I mean, they have like the penalties with the luxury tax, but you need to have these because the reality is, as much as any of us may want the Giants to, they're not going to suddenly overnight turn into the Dodgers and spend $300 million on their payroll. Like it's just not going to happen. And so you have to start hitting on some of these young guys.
Absolutely. That's why that's why I think it's time for Luciano. I really do. I think we've been talking about Luciano. I know he's only 22, but we've been talking about him for 6 years.
Yeah.
And, a lot of these guys, they'll find themselves in the majors too. He's got the talent. I know you want, and I don't understand what their thinking is. They said it was his job this summer. I mean, this spring. He started off, he got hurt, so he wasn't able to really show himself for 3 weeks. Like 8-10 days before spring training ends, he comes back, he gets hot, and he starts showing himself. A little too late, it looked like. Ahmed, was playing well in the spring, was obviously, an upgrade defensively. Oh, there went my light. It needs recharged. Okay, there we go. So I'm a little more in the dark, but I think at some point you got to say, I just don't understand their thinking, because what are they doing with him? Because they're not trying him in left field or right field. They keep saying he's a shortstop, but they're not giving him an opportunity. So
his defense has been concerning. We'll put it nicely. His defense has been not great at short. I mean, at times he looks nice and fluid and like he's like a guy that's played it for a long time, and he makes kind of too many careless mistakes. I don't think he's got particularly great range out there. His arm's really good, and that's where I'm like put him out in left field, like you said, or find a new spot for him. I think the issue they run into right now in both in Sacramento and possibly coming up right now is like they have so many outfielders down in Sac, where they have, when Ramos was there, they had Matos, Ramos, Munguia. They also have Yusniel Diaz. They have Wisely occasionally goes out and plays center field.
He's playing good.
And
Well, there's nothing wrong at this point in his development to say, look, Marco, we're not demoting you to Richmond. We're sending you to Richmond because we have an abundance of outfielders, and we want you to just learn the position. So we're sending you to Richmond for a month so that you can play 25 games and get the feel of left field, and then we'll bring you back up. We don't have room. If we put you in left field here, I mean, I guess they could send Munguia down, but
I mean, he's not hitting, so you probably could justify it, but even Richmond's outfield's crowded. I mean,
you got to make room. He's your priority. Luciano could be playing in the big leagues at any moment, and he's got to be able to learn to play in the outfield. I don't know why they haven't worked him there at all, especially with a bad back, or shortstop's demanding position. You're constantly reaching both ways. You're lunging, you're diving, you're getting up, throwing quickly. It's just, I don't know. But so who else is looking good down there?
I mean, well, so I will comment a little bit on his offense at least, because there are some positives for Luciano there. You can tell, like, he hasn't had the power this year. He's making more contact in the zone. His strikeout rate's a little bit down. I want to say it's about 27.1.
His walk rate's incredible.
Yeah, his walk rate's insanely high. And it's the one thing I actually will say with Luciano is I actually don't feel like he's aggressive enough at the plate. And it's an organizational philosophy. I mean, this is a guy that used to be more of a free swinger coming up, and, kind of like Matos, they're like, you need to control the zone. And it's almost like he's taken it too far, where he's like up there trying to draw walks. He's not swinging at good pitches to hit early in counts, which, I mean, where have we seen that other than every game? It seems like watching the Giants. He's not. He'll take a lot of strikeouts looking. Earlier in the year, at one point, I kind of looked at it because I did it for a video, and he had like 10 strikeouts looking out of like 18 or something like that at the time. I mean, a lot of them are looking, and this is in a more hitter-friendly strike zone where they're doing the ABS and the challenge system and everything. I mean, zones are generally bigger and more pitcher-friendly up in the majors. I mean, Harrison's benefiting from that right now.
Right.
So I'd like to see more of him trying to do damage either early in counts or when he gets count leverage. But he is, he's cutting his strikeouts down. He's walking a bunch. He's doing a lot of good things. And you never know. I mean, I don't know what they're telling him and saying, if they're telling him he needs to work the counts more or what the deal is. I mean, you never know what kind of instruction these guys have gotten from above, but that's the only thing. He's just a bit too passive for my taste, and I think if he could, be a little bit more aggressive, that would be kind of ideal. But overall, like I would love to see him. I think he needs to, like Dan said, move to the left or move to a corner outfield or something where he would be probably an above average athlete overall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand their thinking. And it's not his fault. It's the Giants' call. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Why aren't you? If you don't believe him in shortstop, then put him in left field. Because if your plan is to say, Farhan keeps saying, no, he's a shortstop. We got him at shortstop. Okay. At what point are you going to trust? Because eventually Ahmed is going to be hitting about 224. Where is he now? 240-ish? Where's Ahmed?
Yeah.
Let me look at the box score here.
He's had a swinging bunt single, and he's hit like 2 blistered balls that got caught in this series. But I mean, he's
hitting 239. Yeah, he's right there. So he'll be
every
down.
Number for him looks ugly right now. I mean, the one thing I give Ahmed credit, he's hit a little bit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah,
he
does.
At least puts the ball in play.
He does bear down when there seems like when runners are in scoring position. I just want to address Giovanni, and this.
I got to.
Last time I'm going to nail this guy. Listen,
okay, I got another one.
Giovanni, I said last night, if you understand content or context, I said Belt is out of the game, and that Chapman is going to opt in because if he doesn't, he's going to get the Belt treatment next year. And because Brandon Belt had a 50 OPS last year, something like that, 19 homers, hit 254,
20 plus doubles. Yeah.
And he's out of the game. And he had a 137-ish OPS plus, whatever it was. Yeah. He had an above average year. He was, and as a hitter. So that was my point. And I also said, if you're gonna, play, if you're so intent on trying to you can't find anybody hitters, you might as well stick Wade out in right field and bring Belt in at first base against righties, because Belt will give you a good at bat. And hey, look, also, I never was against the Giants moving off of Belt. I like Brandon Belt. I wasn't a Belt hater. I know a lot of people were, and fine, he had a lot of up and down years, but you know what? He was a good Giant, and you obviously have selective hearing.
Gio Homer, listen to me, all right? You say, where's all the Farhan haters saying he'd never call up Ramos? Come out and don't hide. What are you talking about, dude? And a couple of people have already said it in the chat. We said the only way that Ramos is going to get a call-up is if someone gets hurt. Lo and behold, Jorge Soler goes on the IL, and guess who they called up? They called up Ramos.
Yep.
He didn't get called up because of what he's doing down in AAA, to an extent. They called him up because someone got hurt. Even if he was batting 250, they probably would have called him up because they need someone to be a DH.
Yep. Yeah. They want to right.
Come on, Gio Homer. You should know better than that.
All right. That's enough. That's enough of Gio.
And I'll give I saw a couple people ask about a couple guys in there, so I'll just backtrack.
Oh,
really
Walker
quick
Martin.
on a few
Yeah,
of them.
someone asked about Walker Martin.
Yeah, Walker Martin. I did put that up, and
I did hear and this is a hard thing with minor leagues, that you don't hear about half the injuries. You'll just see a guy went on the IL, and unless there was a major surgery or something like that, a lot of times you don't hear about it until way later, or some obscure Baggerly article that he writes after the season or something like that. I heard that he might have tweaked a hamstring or something in extended spring training. So that might be why. It sounds like he's going to start at the ACL, both with him and Rainer Arias.
Oh, maybe I'll go down and get some film on him.
Yeah, definitely do. I saw some of the extended spring training highlights that I think maybe Roger Munter posted, but he's got a sweet swing too. And Arias, I did hear for him, he dove for a ball and tweaked his wrist again. Not broken this time, at least, but I think he strained his wrist. So he hasn't played in any of the games that I've seen so far, although I haven't checked the last day or two for that yet. And then someone else asked about Wade Meckler.
Yeah, what's going on? We tried to do some research on him. He supposedly he went on the IL on March 29th.
Yeah, hit by a pitch, and I don't know what happened. For all I know, he could have broken his hand or something.
They haven't said nothing though, and this is what, May 8th.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is what I mean. You don't hear about it, and that's the other part with the outfield. I'm they have all these guys right now in Sacramento playing the outfield. Obviously, Ramos getting called up. That takes.
Hey, I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. I gotta do something with my wife. Take care of something. So.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
Hold it down.
All right. Was there anyone else?
Yeah, but if once Meckler comes back, there's another outfielder.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing is and I think that's one of the reasons why you're not seeing Luciano coming up, for the simple fact that there's no place to put him on the big club. Yeah. Not right now. Maybe next year. He's still young enough to where you could see him next year, but we just don't know what his damn position is going to be. Is it shortstop or is it the outfield? I guess.
Yeah. I think if you bring him up, and I definitely understand why Ahmed is up currently. If you bring Ahmed up, if you bring Luciano up, you're doing it because the offense has failed to produce any kind of consistent scoring for a long time. I don't think they're going to do it yet, but if we're looking up in a month or two and the offense is still just dragging them down consistently, you're doing it just knowing full well, we're sacrificing defense here, but we got to try and find a way to score. because the reality is Ahmed's hitting like he's hit for like 3 years. Like I don't expect him to magically start hitting way better. So
Right.
that, or either that, or the season just went completely belly up and you're just tearing it down to the studs. I mean, that would be the other reason that you'd see him.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Real quick, Harish says, did you see that yesterday? It was nasty. It was gnarly. Did you see how he broke his arm?
Yes. And you know what? I couldn't get a good enough angle to see where the hitter was in the box. I know that who was the hitter again?
JD Martinez.
It was JD. Thank you. I couldn't remember who it was. I knew it was a bigger name. But
was he sitting too far back in the batting box, or did he stick his arm out?
Saying that.
I saw
it looked like he was
maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, it looked like he was at least just on the
here I could show it. Here, actually I can't. It's an MLB. If I show that, man, they hammer you, dude. You show any kind of MLB clip, it hit him right on between the forearm and the wrist.
Yeah.
And you could just see it buckle. And I'm like, and he immediately.
Well, and this is the whole. You know what I want to know is.
Well, check out John Boy on Twitter. Johnny, you should be able to find it.
Yeah. What I want to know is if and when Major League Baseball goes to either the automated balls and strikes or maybe the challenge system, they'll kind of catchers will keep doing what they're doing, but especially if they go to ABS, like, are these catchers going to continue to cram like way up and close to these hitters? I mean,
I know.
They're trying to steal strikes.
They're trying to steal strikes. So and that's the thing. The value of catchers is going to change dramatically when the ABS gets implemented, because it's no longer going to be based on framing. It's going to be about blocking and throwing runners out, not so much as framing, which is good. I mean, you take a little bit more pressure off of them, and they can prepare more for the runner that's going to try to steal. So I guess that kind of helps. It was Wilson Contreras, St. Louis Cardinals catcher. Happened yesterday. Oh, here's real quick. Saw this earlier today. This will affect Mason Black. Blake Snell is scheduled to throw a bullpen tomorrow. Then it's expected to pitch a rehab assignment game in San Jose on Sunday, per Bob Melvin.
Yeah, so he'll get at least one more.
So I'm thinking maybe, and I saw Senior had mentioned it, maybe he's going to be pitching up in Sacramento, I think on May 17th. I might have to go up there and catch that game just to see how he looks.
Snell?
Yeah, for Snell. Yeah,
I think if they're smart, they would make him start 2 games down there. Or 2 games in the minors.
Right.
And that's my opinion. He looked, you look at how Montgomery has looked in his first couple starts versus how Snell's looked in his first couple starts, where Montgomery got a couple.
He got a couple of, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they both signed, well, actually, Snell signed before Montgomery. Yeah. But Montgomery seems more prepared, ready to come into the season than Snell did.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Snell kind of looked a little chubby too. I don't know if you noticed that when he actually first started. He looked a lot different than what he looked like before. I think he was enjoying some good food in the off season for sure.
My wife bakes. I'm not one to judge, man. I enjoy good food all the time.
So that's going to be interesting. So it looks like Mason Black will probably get a couple of more starts, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And I mean, to me at least, there is a path. Now, I don't know how I'd have to look at the overall roster and see if there's any pitchers that would make sense for them to send down instead. But I could see a pathway for him getting at least 2 or 3 more starts even beyond that, because, as they've talked about, like, these guys are going to need guys like Hicks and Harrison and Wynn. They're not going to just suddenly throw 180 innings.
No, they're going to need time.
They're going to have to skip a couple starts for these guys at some point if they want them to do it. And maybe they're trying to wait it out till Cobb comes back. I don't know.
But that's kind of a question mark.
Yeah, I mean, my suggestion was, have Black take up Snell's spots until Snell's back, and then obviously right now in their rotation it goes Blake Snell, then it goes I think it's Harrison, right? Hicks, and then Wynn. So then every time through the rotation, he took Snell's starts. Then once Snell comes back, okay, now skip one of Kyle's starts. Now skip one of Hicks starts the next time around, and then skip one of Wynn starts, and then he gets 3 more starts in the majors, and each of these guys gets on, and they'll all be on normal-ish rest. You might get an extra day of rest, and then you can send him back down. He can go back to starting down in the sack, but you give all of these guys one of their, you give these guys a breather that
Yeah.
they're going to need at some point.
You're talking about Hicks and Wynn, but Harrison is another one. He hasn't pitched over 100 innings in the MLB.
Season.
Well, granted, at least you're stretched out in the minor, so that helped. But going into a major league season, and if being a number 3, how many innings are you pitching? 190-ish, maybe somewhere around there as a number 3 pitcher.
Yeah, in today's game, it's like 100.
Yeah, I know, because I know last year Webb went 218 or something last year.
Yeah,
so
and
that's
he led the league in innings. He led the NL in innings by a ton.
Correct.
I think Cole threw a lot of innings in the AL, but I think in the NL he was like 20 plus.
So it's going to be. So you actually only got really 2 starters right now who are used to going the distance in a major league season. So it's going to be interesting how they play this, because it could come back and wreak some havoc when you get into the dog days of summer, especially August. That's when pitchers' arms start getting tired, and that's when the hitters start heating up. But it's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah.
What's your prediction for tomorrow? What do you think? You think Giants sweep it, or you think it's going to be? And I mean, you got Wynn's decent. And again, it's Colorado, so there's so many different variables when you're in Colorado.
I hate that. I hate playing there. Even when the Rockies suck, they always get. I mean, you saw it last season. And granted, the Giants in the second half last year were abysmal.
They fell apart. Yeah.
But their season essentially ended when they went to Colorado and got kind of punked in that series.
That was bad.
They had like games against Arizona, then they had the games against the A's and the games against Colorado.
They got swept by the A's, and then they got
it was just that was when their season ended. In that park, it's always been like that. No lead is safe.
Nope.
And
even with a bad team.
Yeah, even when they stink. Yeah. I mean, I will say this, at least from what I've seen, this is probably one of the worst offenses I've seen the Colorado Rockies employ in a while. I know a couple guys might be hurt. I've noticed I haven't seen Nolan Jones the last couple days.
Oh, I think he's hurt. Yeah, I think
Bryant's hurt, which I mean, whatever on that one. He's kind of fallen off the cliff. But the guys are dinged up. Charlie Blackmon's still kicking. I mean, that guy.
That guy's 38 years old and he's still out there playing.
Yeah. So,
it's going to be interesting. I mean, who's going for Colorado? I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a lefty. I think it's
probably a guy I've never heard of.
Yeah, probably.
seems to be the typical for the Rockies. They have Quantrill going.
Oh, Quantrill.
I've actually heard that name. So
yeah, okay. he's been around, I think. And of course, Wynn goes. It's going to be interesting. It'd be nice to get. I mean, it's something. At least if they do win tomorrow, at least you. Yeah. I mean, you want to ideally, at the minimum, be 500 on a road trip.
Yeah.
It's good to right now at 3-6 right now, to be honest, right? Because they're in a good position to go 4-6, which isn't like disastrous, but it's not good either. So I mean, we'll see.
I think and if you go in 4-6, it at least opens the door for the possibility. I mean, we talked about how tough this stretch was, I think, when we were talking last week, where they have the 10-game road trip and then 3 at home. They play 16 straight days, and they have the 3 at home against Cincinnati and 3 against LA. I would say it at least gives you the possibility of maybe going 500 in that stretch. If you can somehow find a way to go 4-2 at home. I don't think it's likely, especially playing the Dodgers, but I'll say this: the Reds are scuffling a bit right now.
They're catching the Reds at a good time right now. Yeah, they're not.
So maybe you can win 2, maybe you even can win 3. You just never know. And then you got a chance. Then you get the Dodgers at home, and you got to find a way to. You can't get swept again to LA. You got to find a way.
How many is against? Is this 3 against the Dodgers?
3, yeah. So.
And I wonder I don't know yet what the pitching matchups are going to be for that, but
I mean, I'm assuming we're going to have we got Wynn tomorrow, which means it's going to be Webb. Yeah, you're starting
Webb, Black, and Harrison against the Reds, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. We're gonna get to see it. Yeah, Hicks didn't pitch against the Dodgers last time.
So now it's gonna be Hicks, Wynn, and then Webb, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Hicks pitch against them. I want to see how he does.
See how he does against the Dodgers.
So,
yeah. Woo! It's gonna be a test. It's gonna be a test. I mean, he didn't have a very good time because he played against Boston, right? If I'm not mistaken. Did Hicks go against Boston? Yeah, he didn't play in Philly, did he?
No, Hicks didn't pitch against Boston. They did Webb, Jeffries, and then Harrison.
That's that's right. He did pitch against Phillies, and it wasn't very good.
Did you guys see the Harrison thing that's come out where his last 5 starts have been after losses, and the Giants have won all 5. They went 5-0, 3-1, 3-0, 7-3, and then 4-3.
No kidding. In his last one.
Yeah.
How many of those did he get a decision?
He's 3-1 on the season. So
he didn't get them the decision because they didn't have the
But he's keeping them in games.
He's keeping them in game. And here's another thing I heard too is in his last 4 games he hasn't given up a home run.
Yeah.
And that's something that he was notorious for when he first came up is, at the beginning of the season he was giving up a lot of the long balls. So he's
one good swing and miss secondary pitch, I think he could be one of the most dominant guys in baseball.
Correct. I think his secondary isn't quite as elite as like even Hicks. He's got a great, with the changeup. Same thing with Wynn, because his fastball plays, and if he could, like you said, have a really good, commanding of a second pitch, he'd be deadly.
Yeah,
he'd be
deadly. Hicks has 2. His sweeper and his splitter have been absolutely filthy this season. I did a Hicks video kind of talking about how he's, he's been so successful this year. And hitters are hitting like 100 off of or worse off of his sweeper and his splitter. I mean, they're not touching it.
One thing I was impressed. Go ahead. Is his locating his fastball down in his zone.
Yeah.
That sinker that he throws to the outside on a right-handed pitcher.
It's not fair when he paints it.
It starts off, and then it just comes and dips in. And if you've got an umpire, worth his metal, he's going to call that a strike. And he got the strikes in that outer corner against righties, which was fantastic.
Yeah. I looked at when I did the video on Hicks. I had looked at the the movement because I was kind of curious, just what's his how he's having the success. Like he's clearly changed the way he pitches a little bit. And he sacrificed his velocity a little bit, where his average velocity with the sinker is down like 4 miles an hour.
Right.
But he's getting like 17 inches of horizontal movement.
Gets more movement. And exactly.
It was like 15 and a half roughly before. So he's getting like a little bit extra movement, and vertical drop is up a little bit by like 3 or 4 inches. And, a few of the other ones he's had huge gains in like the split. He was only throwing it 1% of the time last season. Now he's throwing it about 15%. The velocity went from 91. Now it's down to 85. But the vertical drop on his splitter is up like 6 inches. I mean,
to be honest, doesn't that make sense though? Because the harder you throw, the more, quote
unquote, 100%.
The more streamlined you're getting. You know what I'm saying? You're not allowing that movement because the ball's traveling that much faster. So you got less time for it to break.
Yeah.
So now when you throw it a little bit slower, you're allowing the spin on the ball to catch, so to speak, and get that movement. So and then if he has to, he can reach back and throw that 4-seam and get it up over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Just change it up.
He's been using it a little bit. He still uses it like 7% of the time. And I saw that when this was at the time I did the video. I haven't like double checked to see what it's at now, but he had thrown it like 24 or 25 times, and like all but 2 of them came to lefties. And it's the one pitch he's throwing up in the zone. So I think he likes it because hitters are typically used to that run on that sinker, and I think he likes to use it as an out pitch on lefties where he just jams them up.
It changes the eye level, and it's something they haven't seen, and they may not be able to catch up to it. Yeah, I like it. Now, my only concern with him is going to be durability. That's what it's going to come down to. Both
and unfortunately, we're not going to know the answer to that one until late.
And that's the problem is when it does happen, they better have a contingency plan to address that, because you just can't let that guy. And here's another thing: what kind of effectiveness is he going to have if you throw him, say, in the bullpen? Is his arm going to be shot?
Yeah.
Is it going to be fatigued? I mean, granted, you're only going to come out for maybe an inning or two, so maybe it's not as detrimental. But that's something they're going to have to keep an eye on, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you're going to get to, and hopefully they're in contention. Hopefully they're coming down to the wire, giving us something to root for here at the end of the year, but hopefully they're making a push.
And they're going to have to keep the consistency of hitting. Yeah. Like yesterday, it was full-on ground attack. It was all a bunch of weak hits that just happened to be able to hit at the right place, and they're able to score runs. Today, they got a little bit more zing on the exit velocity, right?
Today was more of your typical Coors game.
Yes, right.
Got one over the fence, hit a lot of doubles.
Got a triple in there.
Put up a big crooked number in one of the innings, and they
played like a typical Coors Field, right?
Yeah, it played like a normal Coors Field game. Yesterday, it was like you said. I mean, Rockies didn't really do much of anything.
They didn't do nothing. They didn't strike out a lot, but they didn't also do anything either.
Yeah, and today though it was a lot of loud contact that happened. So.
And Dan is back.
He's back.
I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
No, you're good.
No, you're good on our end.
My camera just froze on mine. I don't know what the heck. I was just there. It goes. Just froze on my end.
Yeah. So, you guys have any other prospects you guys have been keeping an eye on? Anyone that you guys
go for it, Dan? If you got anyone else that you can think of.
Well, I'm not sure who you covered, but
we didn't really covering the big team.
We were just talking more,
More what?
The big team.
More big team.
Oh, the big club. Okay. How about what's going on with the not Arias, but McRae?
McRae.
Ooh.
Well, he only had 3 hits last week. They were loud. He had 2 homers and a double. But the thing with him, it's tough because he clearly has 4 of the 5 tools. He's got a nice arm. He's got insane range in center field. The glove is great. The speed is off the charts. I mean, it's a 70 tool speed guy. He has good power. He's hit 4 home runs so far in the Eastern League, which, that's impressive this early in the season. It's cold, windy, huge parks, a lot of good pitching in the Eastern League. But he struggles to just make contact. And I think unfortunately for him, he might be a guy that just never makes enough contact to be any kind of regular major leaguer. I hope he proves us wrong because the other 4 tools are pretty special. But him and Von Brown both they really struggle to make contact, and at some point you've got to if you're gonna do anything.
Yeah.
So and his speed is like disappeared. His stolen base threat. Yeah.
How about the kid that they drafted with the Bumgardner compensation pick, the kid Joe Whitman, the lefty? Anything on him? He's their 10th ranked prospect.
Yeah, he actually has his stuff is really good. I would say as a lefty, he actually has a very good changeup. A lot like Wisenhunt, where you kind of feel like this changeup is almost elite, that he can get a lot of outs with it. But another guy struggled with command so far. His last outing, though, he threw 4 innings, no earned runs, no hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. So the last outing was really good, but he's gotten kind of touched up a little bit in San Jose.
Oh, okay. All right.
Before that. So, and you see with all the guys really in their system.
That's crazy.
Throw strikes, and these guys some of them are almost unhittable. Hayden Birdsong's been like that, where when he's throwing strikes, his fastball, curveball, and splitter are all plus pitches.
Right. And Birdsong, isn't he like the top? Isn't he like 6th prospect, I think?
Yeah, number 6. And I actually will go as far as to say I think he's going to end up being a top 100 prospect.
Really?
Right around that reshuffle when they a lot of times will reshuffle mid-season. I think he keeps pitching like this. You're going to see him in AAA soonish, and he's going to end up in the top 100. I mean, is
he maybe the guy that might bring a hitter? Maybe,
yeah,
in a
potentially.
trade. Yeah,
I think him, Wisenhunt, Mason Black,
right.
Whitman down there. I mean, they have a lot of intriguing arms. If there's one spot that they, even Reggie Crawford,
Right.
If there's one spot that the Giants could probably afford to move one or two guys trying to bring in a big bat, that's a spot. They also have a lot of middle infield depth in the lower minors right now.
Yeah, what's going on with Arteaga at the shortstop? Where's he at? Is he in Eugene? Arteaga?
My understanding is he was probably going to start in Richmond, but he had like thoracic outlet surgery.
Oh,
so he's out right now.
What about Barracoto?
Barracoto had a couple big loud hits early in the season, went through a bit of a funk, a lot of strikeouts. Last week he went 4 for 16 with 3 strikeouts in that, so might be coming out of it a little bit. I think he had another hit yesterday, another 1 or 2 hits yesterday. Today, I mean, Richmond took I think they had like 3 hits today, so
wow.
not a lot of offense out there today, but he hasn't quite replicated the crazy exit velocities that you've seen from him at times. Right. But I like the bat. I think he has good potential.
Senior just brought up a guy I was going to bring up to you. He's their 25th ranked prospect, Cole Foster. He's out of Auburn, shortstop.
Yeah.
How's he doing? He's down there at San Jose. Senior says he really likes him. How's he look?
Yeah. Foster's been really impressive. Absolutely raking. I think there are 3 guys to me right now that I think, and Shanahan there just brought him up too. But there are 3 guys that I think should get promoted like ASAP. Foster is one of them. He's like 23, 22, 23 years old in A-ball. I think he's proving he's too advanced for that level. Like, get him up to high A. Quinn McDaniel up in high A.
I heard him
been raking. So I think you could make an argument to move Quinn McDaniel up, bring Foster up, and then you can have Foster play short and move Diego Velasquez, who's also really good.
Yeah, Velasquez
over second, where I think he's a better fit at second base. And then Jonah Cox is the other guy that he was the guy they got in the Stripling trade. I think he's their number 28 or 29th ranked prospect now. And he's just dominating that level. I mean,
isn't he an older guy though?
Yeah, it's similar to Foster. He was a college guy that I think played 4 or 5. He was there for.
Oh yeah, he's already he's 23. Oh, he's 22. He'll be 23 in July. Okay,
he's like Meckler. He's just way too advanced for those lower levels.
Yeah.
I mean, his last week he went like 5 for 15 with a home run, 6 walks, and 6 stolen bases and 4 strikeouts. It's like, get this guy up to high A. He doesn't need to be in San Jose. So those are the 3 guys.
Like Von Brown. Von Brown kind of sped through everything. Now he's hit a wall, right? I mean, is he just?
Yeah.
How about Hunter Bishop? How's Hunter doing?
He's actually been solid. He took an 0 for today, but he was 5 for 12 last week with a home run, 2 doubles, stolen base, only 1 strikeout. Strikeouts are still a little bit high, but
do we see him at AAA this year? Does he make the leap to AAA at some point?
I could see it. I mean, he's older. He's going to turn 26 in June.
Right.
So I could see him getting moved up to AAA if he keeps doing what he's doing. His average was up around I think it's like 250 to 260 off the top of my head, and his OPS is a little over 700, which
a little tougher to hit Richmond, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't sound impressive, but then you look at like his WRC plus and things like that, and he was at like 110 after yesterday's game, so he's better than the league average.
And he's stolen bases because that's a sign that he's healthier.
I think he has 4 on the year.
Okay, because he's he was. I thought he was when they kind of drafted him. He kind of reminded me of Bellinger. A
little bit.
Had the speed, the power, a little taller guy, but shucks, that's. I mean, he was drafted in 19. He was in the same draft as there's another guy that's whatever happened to Will Wilson? Is he out of the organization or?
He's in Double-A right now. He went to Triple-A last year. He's back in Double-A.
I mean, this guy was supposed to be a Trey Turner type guy out of North Carolina State.
He just doesn't hit enough. I mean, he's got good power, a solid defender, but he just doesn't hit enough. I think he's going to be out of the organization before too long.
Yeah,
there's just too many good middle infield prospects that are moving up, and I just think he's going to be a casualty of that at some point. Jairo Palmares, he missed like all of last season. Okay. He made his debut on Sunday in Richmond. He went and played his first game. So hopefully we'll see more of him. I remember he had some pretty impressive power, and he had an impressive season in San Jose a couple of years ago. So
now with the catchers situation, did they move up anybody up to AAA when Reitz and Sable came up? Did they move Sagusti up or
no? They kept him. What's the guy's name? It's like Mankato or something like that. Or I'd have to look. He's hit like 4 home runs in a few games though. The guy's absolutely pulverized the ball down there for a couple games, but. I think Reitz is going to be back down soon.
Oh yeah, he'll be down as soon as
Bailey comes back.
Yeah, and then on the big club? What is the word on Tom Murphy? Did they say an how long he might be out? Because they said it's just a sprained knee. That could be 2 weeks. That could be a month.
Yeah, and you guys maybe in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I heard that like 3 or 4 weeks. They didn't put him on the 60-day.
Right.
So, I mean, Sable, frankly, is better than him both.
Oh, I know. I mean, you don't want to see anybody get, hurt with an ACL or anything like that. But gosh, I mean, that's kind of a bad break for the Giants, in that they're going to have to bring Murphy back. Gosh.
Yeah. O'Neal Perez, someone asked about him. That guy can flat out rake. If he needs to get a little more pop, I mean, I think that'd be ideal. They want to see a little bit more power in the bat.
Oh, he's another catcher, right? Another catcher?
Yeah, I'd use that term lightly. He needs to get moved off that position. But I mean, the way I put it is, if you can hit, they're gonna find a place for you. And similar to how they moved Pablo off of catcher back in the day, I think if he keeps hitting like he's hitting, they're gonna have to find a spot for him, because he can hit. I mean, it's impressive. He uses the whole field. It's kind of funny. You look at him, he kind of looks like a little bit of a chunky dude, and he's got a bunch of stolen bases this year. And I mean, he can play. I hope they find a spot for him.
Who did they DFA to bring up? It was the pitcher, right? What's his name?
Which one?
They just DFA'd him.
Jeffries?
Jeffries, Dalton Jeffries. I couldn't think of his first name. Dalton Jeffries. So he'll probably be back on as a non-roster player again, right? No one's going to pick him up, I would imagine.
I think there's a possibility that he ends up back. And that was the thing. He was already on, and this is where I went off on Farhan. I think it was
he got rid of Bart.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? The Bart thing, like I've always said, I wanted Bart to stick around as the backup.
Yes.
I will say this: if I had seen this defensive display from Sable, I probably would have been like, "Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and move Bart on." Or if you at least went and got a guy that could play defense, I could have understood it. But for Tom Murphy, like, it's a joke. And and then you use the Jeffries move when you dump Bart. But my thing was Jeffries was already in the system as a non-roster invite. Why didn't we just? Like, that would have been the time to just not even add him to the 40-man in the first place.
They didn't need to. They wanted to bring him up for the San Diego series, which was like, okay, come on. Do we really have to do
Black
this?
Should have made that start.
Exactly. You wasted a roster spot it's just, I don't understand their thinking. It's like they're trying to squeeze things and just get as much out of the options as possible instead of just, and I go back to tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game's a huge game, because you lose tomorrow's game, you really had an awful road trip.
Yeah.
You'd be 3-7, and you come back 5 under, and you won't probably see. You'll be fighting 500.
Yeah.
Even
For a
hard.
while.
I mean, for a while, and the Giants need to. Their pitching is strong enough that it can carry them for a while if they get some runs.
Yeah.
But if they don't get run support, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and that's the big that's $1 million question for them. Are they going to score enough? Because I do think at some point, like Soler and Chapman and these guys are going to get hot. And if they happen to get hot at the same time, then yeah, this team might just, like last year, they had that 10-game winning streak,
right?
And they got really red hot for like 2 months. I could see them putting a stretch like that together, but
they could win 15 of 20,
100%.
If they get hitting, if their hitting gets going, because
100%.
Get hot. Anything happens when the Giants start putting up 5 to 6 runs a game, they're going to win 80% of those games.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, it just, and that's where it's like I see that. I know they can have that, and that's where, like in that respect, I understand why someone like Farhan sits there and is like, well, they have pedigree and they have track record and we want to see it. And it's like, yeah, I understand that they probably have a run like that in them, but they're not going to do it consistently over 162 games.
Nope. And that's why
we have track record of that too. We've all seen that.
Yeah.
So
I think the concern I have with Chapman is he's got hard hit ball rate in him. He's got, when he can get hot, but something is telling me that he's tailing off the last several years, and he's older now. He's another, each year he gets a little older, and I think there's holes in that swing path. That swing path to me looks like he only swings in a certain area. And that if you can get him in his weak spots, which is chasing on the outside, he looks like a guy that hits mistakes hard. But if they're not in that zone, he swings and misses. I'm concerned that he's missing, and he's looking rather behind on 93. That's concerning to me when I see him getting overpowered at 93, because I mean, that's pretty average, 93,
Yeah.
And
now I don't even know what the average fastball is in the majors nowadays, but that's probably
I don't know, but I know that anything, it used to be you had guys, 2 to 3 guys at most on a 12-man staff that threw 95 plus. That include the bullpen, everything. Now you got half or more, and
the Giants got 3 guys that consistently hit that in their rotation.
Right. Yeah. You got,
and then Harrison, who will touch 95.
Right. And his 94, 93 it looks like 96, 97.
Yeah.
Because of his deception with his delivery, the ball gets on you so quick. It's just, you don't see it it's interesting how things are going to go. I mean, the Dodgers did sweep the Marlins as expected today. So another good pitching performance. I think they won 3-1.
Speaking of pitching, see who got the call up today?
Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens. I wonder if the Giants are going to face him when they go to Pittsburgh.
Sounds like it. It does sound like it.
Must be nice having an organization that brings up their young players when they're ready.
That guy is something else, man. He's on a different level as far as a pitcher.
Yeah.
That guy's a monster on the mound. Woo!
Farhan would be telling him that he needs to build up and be giving him 40 pitches.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Real quick, Badman, he says, been watching almost every stream lately. Just got back into the Giants this year. We finally put something together today, he says.
Ooh, the Pirates lost again today.
Are we going to go major league tomorrow? Win tomorrow, and it's a winning streak. It has happened before.
It'd be the first 3-game winning streak of the season, all the way into what game? What is game tomorrow? 39.
Yeah.
Guardians win again. Royals continuing to win. Wow.
Look at that.
Padres
500.
500. Yep. 2020.
Dylan Cease.
Wow. Dylan Cease. Dodgers win again. They are rolling.
Yeah. Did you guys see the thing with the Marlins when Yamamoto pitched yesterday and Greg Amsinger on MLB Network was like, I'm going to put no-hitter alert, and Jazz Chisholm takes a
gives
yard.
Up a damn home run.
And you know what my reaction to that is because I've seen a lot of people saying Giants should go try and get Jazz Chisholm, which I mean I like him. He's an exciting player, and I mean I can see why people would want him.
I say
but yeah, no, sure, and but I get why, I can see the attraction there, but it was funny. My initial reaction is he gets the first pitch, meatball, and he hits it out of the park, and I go, Justin Vealey just threw up in his mouth watching that because he swung at the first pitch.
Oh, Orioles win.
Yeah,
Ooh,
they don't.
Nationals.
Yeah,
wow,
I don't get that.
Orioles just keep winning. Astros, man, what is going on? What
did you see the shot Stanton hit? Almost 120 miles an hour off the bat.
No,
119.9 off the bat for a home run.
That is
speaking of the Astros going kind of sideways right now, and you guys said Larry was talking about Pete Alonso yesterday, and he'd be willing to give up cool guys. I'd be willing to give up some of those guys for Kyle Tucker. That's who I would be willing to give it up for.
Yeah.
He at least has another year beyond this. He's a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that you might be able to lock. If you can lock him up long term, he's a stud.
Oh, I like Kyle Tucker. Love Kyle Tucker.
He can rake. That's a legit middle of the order hitter right there. And I would want him.
Giants, Arizona won again. So the Giants are fourth place, 8.5 back. Yeah. Wow. I'll say this. I'm one of those guys that likes Jazz Chisholm. He's not the greatest, but he's something the Giants lack, which is speed and excitement. I would be for, getting him, put him in right field or put him at second base. You can move Tyro over to short. But the problem is that weakens a little bit of your defense on both sides of the field. Tyro's not as good at short as he is at second. And Chisholm's probably not quite the defender that Tyro is. I don't know. I just would love to see. I think Jung-Hoo Lee is better suited as a second place hitter, or more down in the lineup. I don't like the fact that he doesn't walk hardly. He doesn't get on base unless he gets a hit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see my leadoff guy getting on base at 350 or better clip. Lamont Wade, I mean, he doesn't have much speed, but the guy's pretty good leadoff. I mean, he's on base over 45% of the time this year, which would lead the league if he was, had enough at bats. But I don't know. The Giants, even the other day they had first and third, one out. And I'm thinking, everybody else is stealing second base to get a second guy in scoring position, or making him the catcher, make the defense make a play. Maybe they make an error. But Giants don't even try to steal second. It's like, man, this team just doesn't run at all.
You watch the River Cats play, it's a complete opposite. They just take off all day long. They don't even have elite speed guys down there. It's fun to watch.
That's weird, isn't it? Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. If that's just Brundage's philosophy, or if the Giants are saying, hey, let's see what we can do down here, and maybe when we bring them up, I don't know, because I like the River Cats lineup, especially with Sable down there. If I assume Sable's already down there and Ramos, Now both those guys are here, but you put those two guys back in the minors. I like Sacramento's lineup better than the Giants.
I made the case where, assuming you're going to keep, like, if you had kept like Wade and Tyro, for instance, and I made the argument of this was after they got swept by the Phillies, and I'm like, if you told me that the Giants lineup had like Wade and Tyro and Bailey, and you swapped out, Wisely, Luciano, Schmidt, Matos, Ramos, and you kept Lee obviously too. So you swapped like 5 guys out. I'm like, are we 100% sure they wouldn't have had more than 15 wins in those first 37? Because I'm not. Because I've seen this offense not be able to score a lick, and those guys are, you just don't know what they are, unfortunately. But the offense the Giants have put out is just putrid.
I mean, you look at those numbers right there that Eric just put up. His defense is elite, but a 642 OPS with only a 329 or 314.
314 on base. Yeah, that's not
264. I mean, I think he's going to hit 275 plus this year. I think his average will move up.
And they're saying he's a below average hitter. OPS plus is below 100. That's below average.
I think he's going to be a big year 2 jump guy. Maybe even the second half, but I think he's going to especially be a big year 2 jump.
Oh, I think
yes,
I think by year 3, year 4 or 5, I think he's competing for batting titles.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's just got to figure this game out.
Look, I mean, Matos was similar in this respect, right? As far as numbers was concerned.
Yeah, I think that's about where.
Right? Isn't that where Matos was? So, I mean,
pretty
close.
Close.
Is Jung-Hoo Lee okay? Yeah, he's okay. But is he like some kind of a superstar right now? No.
I mean, he's playing
not
Gold
right
Gloves.
now.
He's playing Gold Glove center field, though.
Yes,
I have not seen him
out there.
make. I have not seen him make a. I mean, he had that one where that wasn't his fault. He lost it in the sun.
Yeah,
but
had 2 balls.
He's had a
where he
couple
lost
of those. One in
Yeah.
Oracle and one in Boston.
Yeah, I haven't seen him like misplay a ball. His jumps are incredible. His routes to the ball. That was where I played center field, and I mean, I love how he takes off running to the spot and then looks. I see so many guys run back and kind of looking for the ball, and they're running at the same time, and you're losing some of your foot speed.
Yeah, your route's a little bit off as well.
Yeah. You don't see him like taking a wonky route or like wandering. Like you watch Wade Meckler play the outfield, and I mean,
oh my goodness,
it looks it is. And then watch Lee take her out, and y'all can see the difference.
Don't talk about Meckler's defense in front of Giovanni, man.
I like
his bat.
Wait, no, not Giovanni. That was Rap Album.
I talked
Rap
about
Album loves his
Meckler. Watching him, he looked like a bulldog chasing after a fly ball. Oh my goodness, he just didn't.
And I like the potential of his bat, but he's got to figure out how to be at least playable in the outfield somewhere. Because his routes are terrible right now.
Yeah, he could be a DA. He's a corner outfielder for sure if he plays in the outfield. But it's
Reckler.
For Smitty there, I would say Matos is Matos is definitely a better defender than Meckler right now, and it's not particularly close. And Matos is at least he needs to not be in center. He is a corner outfielder.
Yeah, Matos is not a center fielder. He does not take
I could agree with this with Nicholas Robertson. Says Lee is a good center fielder and a horrible leadoff hitter. I could see where he's going on that. As a leadoff hitter, not so much. He's decent. He's okay, but not as a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, this is an old Bonds jersey for
nice.
Kyle McKiernan. I have a collection of random jerseys that I got gifted at one point where I have like a Hunter Pence one. It's the black one I'll wear, and then I have like a old school Willie Mays one and a Will Clark one. So
nice.
I had a Clark jersey in Well, I won't tell you what year. See if you can guess. Clark, orange jersey, Giants, number 22. And it was signed by Clark.
The better question is,
with a black Sharpie right in the back.
Here's a better question than the year. Dan, where is that jersey?
Oh, don't go there. I have no idea. I can't remember if it got
that sucks, man.
sold or lost in a move, wherever happened to that jersey. But
Holy Smoke says 1483
AD. It was older than Will Clark, though. It was not Will Clark. It was Jack Clark.
1483.
Jack was my favorite Giant in the 70s, and hated to see him go to St. Louis, but loved it when he hit that ball off Tom Niedenfuer into the Dodger bullpen in the playoffs. Watching Tommy was like, the announcers were saying, I don't know if they should throw to Clark, or and you can see Tommy swearing. You could read his lips. He's effing this, man. He was so pissed. Oh, man. Yeah, that was 19. I think my jersey was in 77, 78, something like that. Yeah. That was a sweet jersey. That was when they were more they were the little bit higher quality. They were embroidered back then, the numbers. They weren't just like, now they look embroidered, but they're patched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one I have, a Panic, is that way. Well, guys, we've been going for an hour and a half. You guys got any more things that you want to say?
I can't think of anything. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
Great to have you on, Cody, man. Great.
Yeah, awesome.
Wealth of information.
Make sure you guys check out his channel. It is Even Year Dynasty Show on YouTube. Go check it out. Every Tuesday he puts out the minor league report. So yeah, go check it out. Go check it out.
Kendrick. I don't even know. I know they're doing some sort of rap battle, and I have no idea what's going on with that. So sorry. I might be like the oldest young person ever because I have no clue what's happening with that.
With what? What was that again?
Niner Empire. He's like, now do Drake and Kendrick, and I said, I have no idea what's going on there.
I've heard about that. What it means, I have no idea what it means, but yeah, I've heard it.
One more prospect I wanted to bring up. How is Hakuna Matata doing? Hakuna Matata. Maui Ahuna.
Maui Ahuna. Well, another guy that got dinged up. And he hasn't played in like 10 days or
what is up with these guys?
Yeah, it's those hamstrings, man.
So,
I don't know.
So there are three shortstops they drafted in order: Walker Martin, Maui Ahuna, and then Cole Foster.
Hurt and doing good.
But Foster's doing well.
Yeah.
But the first two guys.
Yeah, Martin, I don't know if they're going to just move him to San Jose and like have him do a couple rehab games in the complex league first. I don't really know. Haynes was talking about it almost like he was going to be in San Jose, but then I think he's on the roster down there. So,
well, if you hear anything about the ACL, if he's going to play, let me know because I'll
shoot you guys a text.
I'll buzz down there and get some video of him.
Yeah, Bednar pitched. Yeah, there was another.
Oh, that guy's a lost cause too. He's right up there with
He just can't stay healthy. He's like Bishop.
Yeah, he's just Bishop.
Stay healthy. And
I think they're both in the same draft, right? 2019?
No, Bishop Bender was 2021.
Was it 2021? Oh.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is don't draft a guy that has a brother in the big leagues and his last name starts with the letter B.
Oh God.
Yeah. Bednar and Bishop.
Yep.
Both older brothers. I mean, David Bednar still having a good career at Pittsburgh, but I believe the other Bishop brother is out of the game now too. That played with Seattle. Forget his first name.
Is it Brent or no? Maybe not.
No, not Brent.
Royce or something like that.
Something like that.
I feel like his was with a B too. It was like
yeah, he played with the Mariners, and then the Giants signed him to a minor league deal, and I don't think he's.
I don't even think he played in their system. I think he was. Bednar has the back injury. I saw Smitty on that one, and that's.
Is he still? Is he healthy now, or is it? You said he pitched recently, or?
He pitched a rehab game. So they said it was rehab. So I have no idea what level he's going to go to, but he pitched yesterday in San Jose, and he threw 2 shutout innings and made really
interesting
quick work. So
Brandon Bishop, somebody said. I watched Bednar 2 years ago with Matos in the Arizona Fall League, and he was horrible. He got lit up, and he had no velocity. Yeah. It was down to like 90. He was throwing really bad. Braden Bishop. That's it.
Braden. That's it. I knew it started with a B. That's all I can remember. Bednar. I didn't, and I missed it. Unfortunately, I haven't gone back and rewatched that game yet because they archive all those minor league games.
On the MILB.
Yeah, so a lot of times I'll go back and like rewatch some of it to see. That's how, because especially like Sacramento, for instance, I'll have both Sacramento and the Giants games on a lot of times at the same time. But obviously, I'm paying more attention to the Giants game, so I try and go back and like rewatch some of these guys when I have some time. But
cool. Well, we'll definitely have you on next Wednesday. That'll be Wednesday night after the Dodgers-Giants final game of that series. I don't know if that's going to be too late for you, but that's going to be closer to 10 o'clock start.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a late one.
We'll figure it out. I'll just have to tell my wife. Tell the boss and be like, I'm gonna be up late tonight. Sorry.
Can you got the schedule up there, Eric? Anywhere?
I can bring it up.
I'm just going to take a look here. They've got Cincy after tomorrow. Then they got 3 at LA. Then they finally get a day off next Thursday. Yeah. And then they got the Rockies for 3. And then they go to Pittsburgh for 3 and the Mets for 3.
Yep.
Yeah, Eric and I were talking about it. I mean, you're catching Cincinnati at a good time.
Yes.
We'll say that. They are scuffling right now. So,
yeah, and Carciano Strand is now on the IL.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
So, and their pitching is questionable at best.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a team that if they could just get some pitching, some really good solid pitching, they would be really good. But the offense is actually what's kind of abandoned them the last week. So maybe the Giants catch them at the right time.
Who's a possibility there on the Reds? They've got some excess. They got Benson in the outfield. They've got obviously they got Dela Cruz and they got some young guys, but who's some of their excess guys that maybe the Giants could maybe swing a deal for pitching? Who would help the club? Is there anybody there that would?
One guy I really like, and I'd have to look and see how some of these guys are doing this year, but obviously Benson, Encarnacion, Strand.
I was going to say Strand.
Those two. I also really like Spencer Steer.
Yeah, Spencer Steer is
a lot of loud contact, and he can hit.
Could the Giants maybe swing a deal? Would you swing a deal where you maybe traded Flores and a pitching prospect that might be ready to help Cincinnati for Strand? Would the Reds would something like that be possible with the Reds?
Yeah, I mean maybe. I know. I have a friend who's like a big diehard Reds fan, and he always says he's like, we need a veteran starter, and like that. And they have Montas this season, and he's been solid for them. Hunter Green just hasn't quite figured out that second pitch for him and the command, but he's showing some flashes. But he thinks they want more of an established guy is kind of what he tells me. So I don't know if they would go for a Wisenhunt or a or a black, they might want a guy like, I'm going to use like Keaton Wynn for an example. They might want a guy like that that's like in the majors and having success. And they think
I might think of something like that with all the loads of pitching the Giants have.
Yeah.
Strand is from the Bay Area, isn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't he from Martinez?
Cal, I think, too.
I think so. Yep. I think you're right.
He's from Martinez, right?
I think so. I think they remember talking about that when the Giants faced them, right?
Did he go to Cal too?
I don't.
Or was he just from the area? I can't remember. I feel like I heard that somewhere.
Let me look him up here. His first name's Christian
Encarnacion Strand.
There it is. Okay, let me see.
Matt McClain is the guy that I would love if they could find a way to get him, but I don't think they would. I don't think the Reds will get him.
Look at this. Born in Walnut Creek, went to College Park High School. That's the guy that should be on the Giants.
He's
right there.
Ridiculous power.
Would Cincinnati give him up though?
If you gave him, I think if you gave him a win, or maybe even if Cobb got healthy, and they started seeing something out of Cobb.
Cobb ain't gonna do that.
I don't think Cobb's
a young guy. No way.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying along with Wilmer Flores. I can
see like Win, and they might even need to pitch in another like. There's a possibility they would need to pitch in like a I don't know if Flores, like if they really want him, honestly. They might.
How about Barracuda?
Yeah. I don't know what the comparable deal for them would be.
I think if you got Strand, they'd want somebody that would replace Strand. That's why I'm thinking like Wilmer could play first, gives them some pop in Cincinnati. Plus, if they get the young pitcher like Wynn, then and maybe somebody else, maybe somebody like a Barracuda or something, Wynn, Barracuda and Flores, give them a couple, 2 major leaguers and a prospect that, I don't know. I would love to see that because then you have a first baseman now for the next 3 years until, what's his name? Eldridge is ready. And then, Strand could become, maybe later on, he could be a DH or become, he's got pop.
He does. He's got unreal power. I mean,
and he's from the Bay Area. That's the kind of guys that, that would want to stay here. Yeah.
He hits, where he hits the ball, like it's kind of like when you talk about a guy like Alonso or Soler, like when he hits it doesn't matter that it's in San Francisco. Like it's going.
Right.
He's got that kind of power. So
that's the guy they should be looking at. Cincinnati needs pitching. Giants need power, bat. I mean, I might even give up a Wisenhunt for something like that.
I mean, that's why it's like if they'll take a guy like him, I think you could do it. I think you make a deal where if you give up like a Wisenhunt and maybe some other prospect it might take as well on top of him.
Oh, I would, maybe it's one of the 3 shortstops. Not Martin.
Yeah, and maybe you slap Diego Velasquez or Quinn McDaniel in there, which I mean I like those guys, but you got to give up something to get something, and that's it might take maybe they'll do something like that. I mean, I don't know what the Reds necessarily. I feel like they're going to be looking for kind of an established pitcher.
I mean,
it's always about pitching. It's always about pitching.
Yeah,
you can never have enough, and the one thing is the Giants do have a ton of pitching, and a lot of it's getting in the upper levels now.
How about giving them Blake Snell?
Could you imagine that?
It's funny because I was thinking about it, like if the season were to just go, especially when this road trip was going on, and I'm like, if this season just goes belly up, everybody talks about, hey, sell off Conforto and all these guys, and I'm thinking if it goes to where like the point where they're going to be firing people and like ripping it to the studs, I'm like, that's where you have to start thinking about guys like Tyro and Lamont Wade Jr. and Camilo, and it's like guys that it wouldn't be popular by any stretch, but they could fetch you something.
Jay Smitty has a good point. Saying small market teams such as the Reds don't trade pre-arbitration players that early.
It's true.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
I would say unless they're getting a pre-arbitration player back. And that's where a guy like
that
Keaton
would make
Wynn,
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be yeah, exactly. Well, great guys. Hey, thanks for joining us, Cody. Cody will be back here next Wednesday night after the Dodgers. We may even have him on over the weekend if things, who knows?
Yeah.
Depends, if Eric or I need a day off,
Yeah, I'm always happy to. I don't think Sunday is gonna fly with it being Mother's Day.
Yeah. Oh, that's
My
right.
wife might kill me.
Yeah.
But especially
not
first Mother's
Sunday.
Day. But there's always a chance on like a Saturday or something like that. Just shoot me a text.
Our show Sunday will be very abbreviated.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, hey, Giants. Reds final score and winning pitcher, and
I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
What a ball game, everybody, and thanks for joining.
And an hour and a half later.
Now, I'll guarantee you right now. Unless
there's on in the afternoon or the evening? Probably the evening, right?
I don't know. Depends. But I guarantee you the show is going to be less than 40 minutes long.
No way.
Guarantee it.
No way.
Unless there's some kind of crazy, like a no-hitter.
Oh, something crazy. Yeah.
2 grand.
Well, that's what's going to happen now. It's going to be like.
Yeah.
You jinxed it, Dan. See? You already jinxed it.
Hey, as Carlsberg said, I guarantee it. 40 minutes. 4-0. You heard it. Sunday, Mother's Day, 40 minutes or less. Mark that down.
Fancy cut.
Don't forget to remind me either.
See? Exactly.
I'll remember 40 minutes. I might even make it less than 12.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a broken wrist? Strand has a broken wrist?
Yeah, he's out for a while then.
Yeah, they found another little. I'd trade for him right now, man.
Like I said, I like him. I like Benson. I like Steer. I really like McLean, but I don't think he's attainable.
Go get Strand right now while he's got a broken wrist.
Any of those guys. Honestly, any of those guys I'd have more confidence in than any of the
guys. So that's right up his alley.
Yeah.
I would go.
He's not a 29-year-old 4A utility guy.
The problem is the guy isn't having Tommy. If he was a pitcher and he has Tommy John, then we're good to go.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Yep.
Yeah,
all right. Well, hey everybody. Thank you for joining. We'll be back tomorrow night, Thursday. What do you think, Eric? 8?
8 will be fine.
8 o'clock. Yeah, then it won't go so late into the evening. Get that half-hour jump since the game is early.
Yep.
We all said 2 out of 3. When you jumped in and said that you're taking the Rockies 2 out of 3, I says we all had it picked it. I go, we're all going to be wrong.
Yep. Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
So I'd rather be wrong and they swept.
Sweep tomorrow or sweep. Do the Giants get 3 in a row tomorrow?
They could.
Or
the Rockies are playing. Well, I don't know. They put up some runs today, but their pitching is.
Do the Giants get the win tomorrow, 3 in a row, or does it? Does the streak continue of not winning 3 games in a row?
Oh, this will be the first time they win 3 in a row, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Imagine if they went the whole year and didn't win 3 in a row. That'd be a long season.
That'd be a long season.
Rough.
I mean, didn't they in 21? Didn't they go the whole 21 season without losing more than 3 in a row?
Something like that.
I think so. Yeah, it was either 3. I think it was more than they had.
Yeah, they never lost more than 3 in a row. Yeah.
Gee.
Which I guess if you win 107 games, that's
wow.
55 losses in a year. That would drag.
That was one impressive season.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks to Cody for coming on, and go check out his channel.
Even Year
Dynasty Show right there. You can you can see his Twitter. That's not. There is a Y in there. It's not ED. It's not the.
There's a Y in there.
There is a Y in there,
There
guys.
is.
A little small, but it's the EYD show at EYD show on Twitter and on YouTube. It's the Even Year Dynasty show. Go check it out and subscribe, give it a like, everything you got to do, and make sure you tell your friends and family members about our show. We're kicking down right now about staring 1,900 subs in the face.
Yep.
Love to knock that out before the Dodger series. We'd love to hit 2,000 over the Dodger series, and we may have even a big surprise for you next week to knock that over 2,000, guys. You never know what NorCal sports could come up with. We may even have an exciting announcement coming next week. Stay tuned. Possible change of direction, maybe a name change or something, but we're not sure yet. We're covering so much of the Giants, but
I know exactly what's going on.
What? Did seniors say something?
No. I'm just thinking about what you're saying. I'm already picturing it. There's gonna be a damn nuclear cloud.
No. Give us a hint, Dan. All right, you're gonna have to definitely join us for the LA series and the Reds. But we're gonna have some fireworks going on next week. I can just tell you that. I can tell you there's going to be some fireworks, and you are not going to want to miss what we have coming for you next week.
Oh, and a matter of fact, Cody's going to be on the show because it's
Am I?
Right?
Oh, Wednesday night, yeah.
Let's go.
The Monday show should be.
You may be the.
Hey! Let's. We don't want to
keep it there.
All right, we're gonna leave it there, guys.
We'll leave it there, guys.
I gotta end this, but you don't want to miss the upcoming Dodger series because we have some really good stuff we've been putting together and working on. We have a wonderful shows set up for you guys. So we will see you, but we'll be back tomorrow night, 8:00. Giants go for the sweep tomorrow against the Colorado Rockies. And thanks for joining. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Woo!